Hello!
Hi everyone! Today it's Being German Part 3 and it's all about the beer!
Beer!
We can just go ahead and say it. Beer is really important for Germans.
Yes, it is!
So we thought about what would we do with this video, and of course we could get drunk. But we thought it maybe would be a bit more interesting if we tell you something about why the German beer is so special.
First of all, we want to talk about the purity law.
Das deutsche Reinheitsgebot.
In 1516 there was a law and it said that German beer has to be made out of 3 things. Water, malt, malt, and
later on yeast, because they figured out that they need yeast as well. So actually 3 + 1. But still, with those 3 + 1 ingredients, you can make so many different kinds of beers that they need to classify them more. And the first thing how you can classify it is in the top fermented and the bottom fermented beer. Basically the difference is that the bottom fermented is cooled while it's brewed, and therefore the yeast sinks to the bottom, top or bottom, kind of self-explanatory. Whatever, so we brought you some kinds of beer.
here we go.
And these 3 actually are pure brewed beers. So is this one a top or a bottom? I just realized what I said. Alright, so
2 bottoms, 1 top.
We brought 4, we brought 3 pure beers that are brewed because of the purity law and are actually beer. But there are many more kinds.
For example, there's Bock beer,
there are so many kinds, and we just brought the most common ones. This is the first one we want to show you.
So let's open it up.
Alright, so this is a classic German thing. You can open a beer with everything. The Pils.
The Pils. This one is actually the most consumed beer in Germany.
Yes.
It was not created in Germany, but it was created by a German, so
it's German.
It is German, kind of.
And it's also the most commonly Feierabendbier, which is a custom when you get home from work, you drink a beer to ease yourself into the evening, or maybe have a drink with your colleagues after work, obviously not before work. That would be strange.
Pils is kind of the everyday beer, like you said. Feierabendbier. You can have it with beer.
You can have beer with beer.
You can have it with fish, you can have it with meat, you can have it with a salad, you can have it with anything. So if you're ever in Germany, try the local Pils.
And actually there are different classes for different kinds of beer. We are plebs, so we don't have as many kinds of classes, but I also want to show you this one. This is the one you most probably know if you're not from Germany. And you may be wondering why we're not using this one. Well, normally no one uses those because they are way too large, they're way too heavy. If you leave the beer in this, it gets stale really fast. So normally no one uses those except for the Oktoberfest. Look how pretty it is! This one is
Weizenbier, or Hefeweizen, or just
Hefe, which translates to yeast, which tells you how it tastes.
It's kind of fruity and also really flavorsome.
Or yeasty, you might say.
You can have it with typical Bavarian fruit, I think, from Bavaria.
Bavaria,
not Bavaria.
So you can have it with typical German food, as you say, I guess. But you don't have to.
The third one is
the one I like.
Is Schwarzbier, or translated is just black beer.
Pirate of the beers. And it's also served in smaller glasses.
Black beer actually comes in many different flavors. You can have some which are really sweet and like caramel, or you can have some which are more full and more
strongly flavored.
It's always a kind of adventure to order one if you just say, I want a black beer.
I want a pirate. And also it divides the people. You either love it or you hate it.
This one is a different kind.
It's not brewed according to the purity law.
It is a Gose.
And this is something typical from the place that we are from.
The taste is really different to the other kinds of German beer. It is more sour or
Salty even.
yeah, sometimes even salty. And you love it or you hate it.
Even if you don't like it, you can sometimes mix it with some fruity lemonade and then it's fine. But you should always give it a try because maybe you love it. So if you ever come to the east of Germany, have a Gose. This one we will not open because we still don't know if or how we should drink that one. Because this is what you should not buy. If a beer is sold in plastic bottles, it's
Just ask yourself
cheap.
if you really should drink it. And don't.
And you will also notice this one. It's warm, you will not notice, but I notice this one is not cooled. And actually German beer always has to be cooled. And with this one, you just, you don't need to bother because it always tastes horrible. So you can just drink it warm or cold. Who cares? And if you bought something like that, maybe by accident, you can also mix it with different stuff. And there's two main kinds. It's the Radler and the Diesel.
Yes. Maybe also known as Alster or
A muddy one. So the Diesel, which is the one I like, is where you mix beer with Coke actually, and it gets all muddy and swampy, and therefore it's also called the muddy one.
And the Radler one actually is mixed with lemonade. It's called Radler because you can actually have one, for example, when you're going outside and doing outdoor stuff. That is a typical being outside
outside beer in summer, and you still can kind of get home safe because you don't drink as much, but don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. These are just a few kinds of beer. There are many more. You can mix it with almost everything. If it tastes good is another story. But what about us?
What do you prefer? Do you prefer wine or beer? That is the question.
Actually, I would prefer wine over beer, and actually I'm a cider person. I really like cider.
Girly things then.
Yeah.
I prefer proper beer.
Yeah.
I get the ding.
You get the ding! It sounds so strange.
So much about German beer.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed this.
And learned some things.
Yes, infotainment. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. Maybe leave us a comment what kind of beer you prefer. And subscribe if you want to know when the next part of Being German and our gaming videos are published. See you then, hopefully.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Come on, say it again.
Blackbeard.